Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Holowitz, and I want to talk to you a little bit more about Linktivity and some of the basic settings you're going to go through as a new Linktivity user. So, in a previous tutorial, I talked to you about the Act Web API settings, and I'm going to click on this right here to take you inside. I talked to you about these settings, and now I want to talk to you about some general settings. So, when you come into Linktivity, what my experience has been is they have so many settings and so many places where you can go and adjust things that my opinion is that sometimes when I have to go do things, I get confused where I have to go because there's so many offerings, so many options. And I think the nature of this software is such that because there's so many things they do for you, it's just how do you put that all in a way that's easy to find when you need to go back to it. So it's not as much a criticism as much as just a reality check that sometimes you're going to hit a situation where it's like, how do I do that again? I even find I go through that. So as an end user, as someone who's learning this software, I think if you can grasp that and say, yep, that's going to happen. What I'm trying to do with some of these tutorials is try to make it easier for you to get to those places you need to be. So initially I talked about the Act Web API, but let's go look at some of the general settings. I'm going to come up to the hamburger in the top left and I'm going to click on that. And you'll see right here it says General Settings. I'm going to click on that. Now, when I clicked on General Settings, I sort of expected to get it right into that. I didn't. So I'm going to click on Summary. And when you come into this area, you're going to see there's some general settings here. The summary is a little bit about what you have, what products you're using, what you have subscriptions with, and the status of those subscriptions. The next thing, which I consider really sort of a key, is the workspace settings. This is information about your setup, your account. And this is relevant if you have multiple users of this software. So you have the workspace settings. And I'm going to come down and just show you a couple of the settings. You can set up how your email interacts with Linktivity. Do you want to use their provider so that it goes out through their servers? SMTP, Gmail, or Office 365. You can come in and set this up. If you have payment integrations, you can set it up here. Again, what I think will probably happen over time is as I go through these things and talk to you about them, there's a chance that these things will change. So if you don't find it here, it's because they're constantly updating the software and it's a moving target. Okay, so let's move on. Team and permissions. If you're in the team version of this software versus the individual version, you have some options when you have team members. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that here, but I am going to click on My Profile, and this is where I do believe you're really going to get into some of the nitty-gritty of setting up your account. So the My Profile is where you're going to go in and make a lot of information or update a lot of information. For example, I've got my photo in here, my title, my contact email, my email signature, my login information, and different options here as far as how I want things to work when I'm sending out emails from within the product. So this is an area you're going to come into. Pending emails, this is just a record of things that haven't gone out yet. I'm not 100% good with this particular area because it's just not something I've had to deal with much. But in a nutshell, what I want your takeaway to be is that you're going to see there are general settings, and then there can be settings for each product. So for example, I'm going to spend a bit of time on working with link to quotes. And when we come into link to quotes, you're going to notice that over here on the right-hand side, there's an area for settings. So there's general settings, and then there's settings as they relate to the product. And that can at times, in my opinion, be a little confusing because, wait a minute, what setting are they talking about? So as you get used to this and as you start working with it, one of the dilemmas you will face, as I've mentioned earlier, is when you change something and then say to yourself, I got to go back and modify that or change it to something else. It's like, how do you get there? Where was that again? And I do find because of all the offerings that can be a little confusing. And I'll try to clarify that as we go along. Okay, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information on some of the general settings. And again, click on the hamburger, go to General Settings, click on Summary, and you can get into this area. And this is something you want to do when you initially get into your Linktivity profile. Okay, my friends, you have a great day. Thank you so very much. Be well. Bye now.